Hello guys.
Welcome to another episode of Two Step Violin. A little bit of a different video today.
Yeah.
Not our usual kind of funny, light-hearted video, but we're going to talk about what we think is quite a serious topic that the musical community should probably talk a little bit more about, and that is the topic of mental health. We came about this topic recently when we were talking with some musician friends of ours. We kind of joke around, but the topic often leads towards stresses and uncertainties of what it feels like to be a musician. And I think it doesn't help that with the recent 2020 pandemic, so many of us musicians lost their jobs. Many of us had to cancel a lot of their concerts. We had to cancel our world tour, so we're very lucky to be able to still make YouTube videos for you. And also just some of our friends who are like graduating. What do I do now, right?
We just wanted to raise this because we felt like through our own experience that hasn't been talked about a lot. And we were never really taught about how to deal with it. They talk about injuries and stuff.
Yeah.
Prevent injuries, but what about preventing psychological problems?
We're not here to give like medical advice, but we wanted to share our own personal experiences and what we've seen in this industry. Hopefully this video will be of some value. At least we hope this can help open up the conversation, because even from a purely music performance perspective, just as much as we need to practice and understand how to make good sound, we also need to be very like an elite athlete, know how to be in control of our psychology, right? Yeah, we were hoping for this video will break into two parts. It might be a bit long. In the first part, we're going to be talking about three particular areas: stress and burnout, depression and anxiety. We'll be sharing our personal experiences, what we've seen in the industry, and in the second section, we want to talk about how we've come to deal with these things.
And we hope that would help some of you, but we don't know.
Yeah.
But we thought if it's helped us to any level, it's worth it just to share it.
Yes. The first topic that we wanted to talk about is the issue of stress and burnout.
Oh, we know that one too well.
I want to start this one off by saying that I've been there. I mentioned it briefly. I was so stressed and burnt out that I eventually had to stop playing violin for about 8 months. It was probably the most difficult time of my life. But not just that, like the number of musicians, the ones that I know about, is already so many. I can only imagine how many of them I didn't know about as well. That burnt out. I personally had a good friend of mine that she used to practice so much. And don't get me wrong, practicing is good, but it was like this kind of stressed, obsessive kind of mindset. It was really sad because she eventually burnt out in the last year of uni, and she was unable to touch her instrument without breaking down into tears. It's so sad that like as musicians that we love what we do, in some cases our careers actually end because of these burnouts.
And actually, yeah, and there's this person I know, I knew, also just disappeared and stopped playing violin. Extreme talent, did everything, but all of a sudden just stopped. And that I remember as like a kid when I was like 13, 14, 15, I can't remember. It was like a mystery to me. It's just not talked about.
Unlike a lot of other musical genres, classical music has, it's a pro and it's a con. Like it depends how you see it, right? But we have such a kind of standard for perfection, and a standard for like respecting tradition. Personally, I do think there's something value in that. But at the same time, we're kind of brought up in this, especially in university. There's this kind of like mindset of like everything has to be so perfect. Like, that note was out of tune. Like, audition is over. I just remember like obsessing over every little shift. You can't phrase it like that because Baroque music shouldn't be phrased like this.
Yeah.
It really clicked to me a few weeks back when we watched our old Young videos and saw how unstifled we used to be when we were 5 years old, just playing the violin, not caring too much. And you compare that to when we're
like 16, 17, 18. You can kind of see that.
For me, definitely went university.
That
string quartet video.
Oh yes, yeah.
Like our body language was so like.
It's kind of this unspoken culture.
Yeah.
That kind of encapsulates you into this culture, and you become stifled without even realizing it.
I think it's very easy to get caught into this world where it's like, perfection, and then like cutthroat competitions, and we all know like music's not about competitions, right? But if you study classical music in a university environment, it kind of does feel like, oh, you want to actually make a legit career and be able to sustain yourself, then you better win this insane international competition, competing against these crazy prodigies and practice 40 hours a day or whatever, right?
Yeah.
I don't want to name names or say anything that might let people be able to figure out who I'm talking to, but I know definitely over 7 off the top of my head people that are stressed and burnt out, including myself. For me, I never talked about this extensively, right? So what happened when I was 20 was I had, crazily enough, Sibelius Violin Concerto coming out.
Yeah.
There was a performance with the uni orchestra, the Sibelius Violin Concerto, and I also had the Australian Youth Orchestra World Tour that year.
To Europe.
And I was also preparing for the YPA competition.
Yes.
So 3 really big things, and I was just practicing like crazy. The first thing that showed up was tinnitus.
And this is very real.
Yeah.
I can say I've seen it.
Yeah, people that went to uni can like testify. Like I was in like this
It was
weird headspace, right? And then I remember one day, my left hand, I was practicing a lot. I was practicing Paganini, like all these thirds and stuff. But suddenly, I just felt like this pain through my left arm. But one thing that I always say is, don't push through the pain. And so I was like, oh crap, I gotta stop. And then one day it started hurting my right hand as well. I couldn't play violin anymore. I had to take time off. I flew back to Taiwan to see some doctors, and also I wanted to see my family. My family wanted to see me. And one day that same pain sensation spread to my legs. I suddenly was not able to walk or exert any force with my hands without like really intense pain. It felt like being stabbed.
You also saw some physios while in Brisbane, and they said don't push through the pain.
Yeah.
There was a lot of professional advice about physical sides, don't pushing through the pain.
Some doctors just say, oh, your blood markers are fine. I don't know. I even remember one doctor, he was just like, and it's kind of right, but the way he said it didn't help. He was just like, it's all in your head, take some meds. I'm like, are you serious? Like, I'm experiencing like very real pain. And so that was definitely one of the more depressing episodes of my life. I was in a wheelchair for about 2 months, and I was very, very lucky to meet, I think it was a neurologist. This doctor told me to stand up and walk. And it's not like I couldn't walk, but it was just like when I walked, it would be so painful. And then afterwards, for like the next week, I'd be in even more pain, so I tried to avoid it, right? And it was just like, stand up and walk. And I was like, no. He's like, no. Stand up, walk, trust me. He first reassured me that walking pattern is not one that represents an actual neurological disease. But basically the idea is that in my mind, normal physical sensations have been rewired to become pain receptors. While there's nothing physically wrong with my muscles, I was experiencing the pain in my head. So it was in my head, but it was very real. And when he educated me on that, he told me studies about how someone that had it in the left hand, they will use this 45-degree mirror and trick the brain to think the left hand was moving without pain. But in my case, since all 4 of my limbs were affected, he said the only way is to actually push through it and know that it's okay. Now again, this is advice very specific to what I was going through. Hey, if you actually have an injury, don't push through it, right? Yeah. Within 2 weeks, within like 3 days, I was able to walk.
I still remember Eddie messaging me, he's like, I'm better now.
Yeah.
And I was like, what?
Yeah.
You needed someone with experience and education, like a neurologist. You know this person talked through and educated Eddie through. I remember he said, I'm better now. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
2 months in, all of a sudden he can walk. And then we played a prank.
On our friends.
It was pretty stupid. Come on,
So
we were like 20 years old. We invited all our friends to Eddie's house. While everyone's in the same room, and he goes, oh, I want to go to the toilet. Instead of someone pushing the wheelchair to the toilet, he just stands up and goes to the toilet.
So dumb.
And to be honest,
I'm so embarrassed.
And to be honest though, I think I was the one that got the most kick out of it.
Yeah, it was his idea, and he just laughed.
It's my idea.
And I just felt like a wanker.
I still remember a few of the friends' faces.
Yeah.
Do you?
I think I know who you're talking
about. Yeah, anyway.
Yeah.
It was very serious.
Yeah, I think that experience taught me that, first of all, people don't realize just how many different ways psychological, mental issues can affect and manifest.
Yeah.
The second thing I realized was like there was a kind of taboo when it's like, oh, it's all in your head, like the doctor. And so it doesn't help someone that's going through mental things to be like, it's all in your head.
It just feels like someone just put you in a corner or something. I don't know.
It makes you feel ashamed of having a mental illness, and that makes it worse rather than seeing it objectively as something that we have to find a plan to overcome, right? I want to clarify this. For me, it's not that working hard equals stress and burnout, but it's more like where it's coming from.
Yes.
And if it's coming from the wrong place, I'm not good enough, I need to be better. Yes, it'll make you temporarily work harder, but it's almost like there's a price to pay
Yes.
for not dealing with these internal issues.
Yeah, the outcome is generally not good.
Yeah.
Actually.
So next one we want to talk about is depression.
I think with depression, we feel like we're the least
Qualified
to share about this. Now, we've been through depression periods, but I wouldn't say that we fully experienced depression.
Yeah,
as a
like
whole.
we have friends who are clinically diagnosed depressed.
Yes.
And I think that's a different thing possibly.
Yeah.
So we can't say for sure that we can speak on behalf of that.
Yes.
All we can say is me during my wheelchair period, but definitely you recently with your...
So it's quite real to me.
illness.
I can still kind of relate and kind of feel what it's like.
There was actually an article I found, a study that talked about the impact of depression on musical ability. The results showed that musical ability is greatly reduced in patients with depression. Now this to me is very interesting because as a musician, this is kind of the dangerous cycle that can happen, right?
Yeah.
It's like you feel like you're not good enough, you can't play well enough, you start feeling worthless, you start feeling depressed. The depression reduces your musical ability,
Yes.
which makes you play even worse.
And then when you play worse,
You judge yourself and you feel even more depressed,
yeah,
and it can become this
it
like...
just keeps going. It's like this negative spiral. And it's kind of like your whole focus point is on that.
Yes.
And you can't help it. For my research, I mean, I'll talk a little bit about it. I mean, most of you already know. I'm generally quite a positive guy, like, okay, stable. Then he saw it declining. I started panicking more. Again, this spiral. Why did I do this to myself? Why did I push myself? Oh my God, what am I doing? I'm such an idiot. There's a lot of these questions.
Yeah.
And the worst part when the voice was like, what's the point of living?
Yeah.
And that freaked me out.
Yeah.
And that's when I was like, oh my God, like, why did I do that, you know?
Like for me in the wheelchair, it was like you wake up and there's nothing to look forward to. You're just like
Absolutely.
trying to get through every day.
Yep, you're just trying to get through every day. You obviously ask, what's the point of this anyway? There's almost no purpose. Purpose is just, whew. And it gets very tricky. So that was kind of my experience. So I can kind of relate. I mean, I don't want to say that was it, you know, because I don't truly know what's like.
Personally, I feel like it's something that benefits from having someone there to talk to about.
Yes.
We'll talk a little bit more about our thoughts on all of this in the second section. For now, I think it's important though to just raise the awareness about some of the things that people experience in the musical community that we don't really talk about as much, right?
Yeah, because it's so competitive.
The last one, anxiety, especially performance anxiety. It's huge. Dude, this was like the bane of my existence for the longest time.
This is like the birth of Shaky Bow.
Like all the Shaky Bow skits you saw from us 4 years ago. Well, that's real.
Yeah, it's very real.
I feel like definitely my personality has always erred on the more anxious side. It's similar, like your brain kind of also goes into like a spiral.
Yeah, and actually, can I give an example about the bow? Super real, super clear.
Yeah.
The spiral example. So once you get the shaky bow, you start wondering everything, even possibly minutely affect your shaky bow.
Yeah.
Is my bow not tight enough? Does it need a rehair? Oh, was there not enough rosin?
Yeah.
Oh, was my string not good? Oh, was it the freaking weather? It sounds so irrational, but in the moment, it sounds very real.
Yeah. For me, like before even going on stage, I'm not even thinking, can I play well? I'm thinking, I hope I don't get nervous.
Yes.
Because I know I can play well without getting nervous.
Yes.
And it got to the point where I'm just like, don't get nervous, don't get nervous,
And you
don't
go on
get shaky
stage.
bow. First note, crap, I lost my... why does this always happen?
Yeah.
Like, breathe, calm down, breathe. Now it's still shaking. And then I remember thinking, it must be so embarrassing for everyone to see how nervous I was on stage.
It's embarrassing because it was almost like you don't
No
want
one talked about it.
Yeah, but I think that's kind of why Two-Set started in some ways. Our first videos were all about shaky bows.
Yeah.
But in some way, it was our way of coping as well.
Yeah.
You know?
Actually, a big thing here too. This is a kind of an industry secret. It's not a good thing. I don't recommend it. For those of you that get shaky bow or get nervous on stage and look at other people and be like, how did they perform solo so calmly? I can tell you right now, because we've been in the industry, a lot of people take beta blockers and they don't admit to it. They'll never show you. They all get nervous, but rather than us talking about it and normalizing these conversations, musicians are forced to freaking take
pharmaceutical drugs to control,
lower their
heart rate,
and so they don't get nervous on stage. We both know of people that have become addicted to it.
They've been reliant on
play in front of their friends without it.
Yeah.
And no one talks about this.
And I don't blame these people. It's because no one talks about it.
Actually, it's interesting. There's a study that's on psychological well-being of professional orchestral musicians in Australia. 33% of musicians meet criteria for diagnosis of social phobia. That's another interesting one too. They spend their whole lives in a practice room, isolated socially. So now there's also the social anxiety element to deal with.
And also, it's always been fascinating to me. I know, especially how conservatory is that musicians are generally separate from the actual university.
Yeah.
So naturally, we're already kind of almost outcasted. We're never
outcast, but like we're definitely socially
separated.
Isolated.
We're socially isolated, and everyone else is a different campus.
Yeah. The positive is you're surrounded by like-minded people, but the negative is you're surrounded by like-minded people.
Yeah,
and
like,
it's easy for the echo chamber of like, you gotta play in tune. Do you hear this person got shaky bow?
And you can only imagine like just someone doing, let's say, architecture. Like, well, that was great. Different feedback from different people can give you a really good perspective.
Best example. Yeah. It's very different to play for music appreciators than
like a panel of
20 other students that you're competing for that concerto spot and judging you secretly and no one talking about it.
It's next level, like anxiety.
Many musicians can relate to this.
I feel like most musicians.
Actually, I think 99.
I think 99.99999% would.
Yeah.
If you don't, then
I guess you're lucky.
You're very lucky then, I guess. I think this wraps up the first part.
I guess our intention for this first part is to show you guys it's a real thing. A lot of us do experience it. I don't even mean to make this sound negative.
Yeah.
It's just a reality that people have to deal with, and part of my wish is to remove that negative association with this anyway.
Because all these examples that we have, if we had just someone to talk about it or educate us about it, we definitely, I think most probably would have prevented these things from happening.
I would have killed to have someone tell me how to get over performance anxiety.
Oh yeah.
That to me would have been worth more than like how to play Paganini.
Yeah.
Because what's the point of playing Paganini when you get shaky by performing it? Right?
Most people don't perform anyway because they have so much anxiety.
They end up not performing.
You become a musician because you want to share the music and play the music.
Yeah.
What's the point if you can't even share and play it? That doesn't make sense.
So on that note, I think we want to share lessons that we've learned in our lives to kind of address these issues. I definitely think the first thing we wanted to say is to realize it's okay. And I think that's really a lot about why we're making this video, is to realize it's okay to open up and start talking about these things. There's a lot of social stigma around it, but I definitely think the first step is to talk to someone that you trust, that you're close to, and if you don't feel there's anyone safe, then maybe find a professional that can listen to you, because when it's bottled inside, you can't really deal with it. Yep. It's all like...
It's always with you. Wherever you go, wherever you are, it's always there.
If you know someone that's going through something, try to lend a non-judgmental listening ear. It's not about finding a solution yet. The first step is just to let the person that's going through things to know that it's safe to accept they're going through these things.
Yeah, 100%.
And if you really can't find someone, write it out. Journal your thoughts. At least you're getting it outside of you. Once you realize it's okay to acknowledge that you might be going through something, and you allow yourself to then seek help when you need it, read up about it, educate yourself, and then you can start learning about so much more than anything we can say in the span of this video. The important thing though is that if you don't even allow yourself to acknowledge you're going through something, if you're denying it, then that healing process can never really begin. It's like a band-aid solution. It's never really addressed.
But it will come back, you know, in different ways. The second one is actually, well, it's okay to have that emotion. Acknowledge that it's there without trying to push it away, judge yourself, blame yourself. We're all human.
A really cool realization I once had, it's okay to experience an emotion and not identify with the emotion. There's a difference between why am I nervous versus realizing I'm currently experiencing in my body these feelings of nervousness.
Yeah, so it's like, I am nervousness. It's, no, you're not.
Yeah.
You just have an experience of nervousness.
Yeah, the more I've tried to fight it, like for example, shaky bow, right? The more will happen.
Yeah.
The moment you really let go and just go, I'm getting shaky bow, I'm feeling nervous. Or for me at least, I find if I do that properly, it shakes more for like 20 seconds and then it's gone.
But it's not easy to practice.
Yeah.
You have to kind of.
I definitely
get
think
used to it.
it's like the whole being vulnerable too, right? You shouldn't act out on these emotions necessarily, you know, but you can still.
So don't like punch someone.
Yeah, don't
punch someone.
act on it, but at the same time, don't block these emotions.
Yeah, don't feel bad about it. And the third one is also something I kind of experienced recently, is that the voice that we all have, it's not really who you are.
Just as you don't have to identify with your emotions, the same thing with the voice inside your head, right? I picture it as like this little annoying roommate inside my head. I need to practice. Why are you so worthless? The little neighbors being loud again, just let them say what they need to do and then they'll calm down.
We'll all calm down, hopefully, yeah. Okay, and the last part, I think, before we kind of wrap this video up, is we want to kind of share what we've been doing.
Yeah, some practical things you can do.
Yeah.
And of course, I want to preface that by saying, if you have mental illness, go get medical professional help. This is just things that we do that we found has helped for us.
Yes.
So, it sounds so obvious, but it actually has a huge impact. Diet, exercise, and rest, sleep.
Yeah.
Two things. Your brain is part of your body.
Yeah.
And just every time I go through some like full insane work period where I'm not sleeping properly, I start exercising, I eat like crap. It's fine for like the first 2 weeks, but then it slips, and after 2 months, I just feel like I'm miserable and like...
It catches up on you. Yeah, and we're not perfect, like we're still working on this.
Yeah. You know, recently Brett got sick, right? And we had to take some time off, so we've started being very... This is gonna sound weird. Disciplined in taking breaks. We don't really have holidays, but that's a musician thing, right? Like musicians don't really have holidays. You have days where you're not performing or rehearsing, but you're still practicing, right?
Yeah.
Definitely make the time and effort to build healthy habits.
And it takes time. It doesn't happen like straight away. So I think patience as well, I'll add to that.
For me personally, cardio is so cool, like running. Something about getting your heart pumping for like over 10 minutes. Whoa, get your heart pumping over 10 minutes, like unheard of for musicians. It really helps regulate my emotions a lot.
Yeah, so anyway guys, long video, different video, but because we recently thought about this and we thought we'd share kind of our insights. I don't know if this will help, or we hope it does, but
I feel like in a way it's also like breaking outside our comfort zones as well to open this conversation, because it's a bit scary for us. Like, we've never made a video like this before.
No, but I do think it's important. We hope this video kind of opens up more conversations.
You know, it would be amazing, like my dream would be like one day in university, imagine there was a course teaching people how to deal with the psychological pressures of being a musician. I think that'd be super cool.
Maybe it's already out there, but I wish more people talk about it.
Yeah.
Alright guys, that's it today for this long video. I need to go practice. I'm just joking. I'm not please like the video. How do I say it again? But the long video. I've forgotten everything.
It's okay.
Yeah, it's okay to forget.
You don't need to judge yourself.
Yeah, I'm not judging myself. Bye.
Bye.